Hey, it's Kevin here at Offshore Marine. Today we're going to do an overview of the Nautique Linc Panoray screen. I want to take you through some of the features and the whereabouts of different features that you might find. So let's take a look. Here on the home screen of the Linc Panoray, we have on the left-hand side, always consistent, our engine vitals. Things like the speed of the boat, the status of our cruise control, on or off, as well as the tachometer, engine temperature, battery voltage, oil pressure, fuel level, and our depth. At the top side of this menu, we have the air temperature, water temperature, and a clock. Middle of the screen, this will be an adjustment for your wave and wake shapes. Right now in the back to dock mode, we have the features for our plane assist, which we can control on and off, or it works in two different levels of sensitivity for factoring in how much weight you have in the boat and how rapidly you want it to help you plane off. Or you can manually adjust that center plate to help the boat plane off quicker and have a smaller wake shape behind the boat. On the right-hand side of the screen, with the little diagram of the boat, we've got a quick shortcut to be able to turn on different features for the lighting and the climate inside the boat. And those are in the deeper menus, as well as now here we have the turn on of the screen to be able to look at two different ratios there depending on how you want your screen displayed. On the top side menu, this is redundant to the controls in your helm command. This has things like your rider profiles. This is the library of profiles through the boat that have predetermined settings for different activities and wake surf waves and so forth that the boat is already pre-equipped to set up and get you going exactly how you want to out in the water. So when we choose our rider profile, click our activate, you'll then, from the water, tell the boat to fill the ballast. It'll go to those preset levels, and now your center screen here becomes an adjustment for which side of the boat you want to surf on, as well as what size wave you want behind the boat, depending on what the rider preset is. To deactivate this and go back to just a general boat mode, back to dock is the phrase. Back to our rider profiles, we click back to dock, and when we click activate, we'll get this request if we want to empty all the ballast back to that level. And that brings us back to our home screen as we started. You've got your cruise control, toggle of an on and off, as well as adjust the speed, or your stereo in a play pause capacity, or adjust the volume. Coming down the left side menu, we've got things like your stereo adjustments. Most importantly here to highlight is the zone control. This is a really popular feature to be able to adjust each area of the boat and the play pause and mute capabilities for each zone. So if you wanted to isolate higher volume on just your tower speakers or vice versa, wanted to have higher volume on your cockpit speakers but not have your tower speakers cranking loud, we can set those offsets and be able to adjust those independently. This also is where you're going to be able to change the source to whichever feedback you want to have for the music between Bluetooth, USB, XM, and so forth. But then your Bluetooth menus are over here on display to be able to enter pairing mode or change which device is supplying the Bluetooth. On the next screen down, this is an overview for manual controls of your ballast. So you can independently control at your set increments each tank in the boat. So if you really wanted to dial in yourself rather than using the profiles, what ballast levels in each portion of the boat, you have that ability. But a nice feature here that we use often is the ballast shift feature, which now you can incrementally adjust weight, port side or starboard if you want to try to dial in your wave or adjust how the boat's riding without moving your passengers, you can change those offsets. Next screen down is where you'll now get a brief overview and selection of all the different features and lights inside the boat. So now you can control where everything is there. Big thing to highlight is the features of your docking lights. So the boat comes with a running mode where those lights will turn on when the boat goes into gear, or if you want to engage them at night when you're going into the dock in the dark, you've got your docking mode. And then the final screen, this is where you'll get to your settings of the presets and display of the screen itself. Now you've got different features like adjusting your auto awareness camera being on and off, your speed buzzer. You can set a depth alarm for minimum depths. Now you can get to your display brightness. Big thing to highlight is the brightness can adjust with the daytime and nighttime modes. A way to do that is to turn on your navigation lights and it will default to a darker screen. And in that screen, now you can adjust the brightness for when your navigation lights are on as if you're driving at night. This also now is where you'll find things like your power diagnostics. So if you were to get a message here on the dashboard that gave you a circuit fault for something like a bilge pump or your blower, this is where you can go to reset that fault as a basic circuit breaker. And if it's a reoccurring fault, then that's something that you can reach out to us as the dealer about that needs to be further addressed, or maybe it was just a one-time thing. Thanks for taking a look at our overview today of the Linc Panoray screen. Hopefully we were able to show you something new about how the screen functions. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our team, and we will see you on the water.